I'd like to call the meeting to order. Almighty God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this in thy holy name.
Amen.
We salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. In the public forum, does anyone wish to speak to address the board?
I would.
Go ahead, Karen.
Okay. Hi, my name is Karen Bissell. I'm a candidate for New York State Assembly. I'm here this evening to let you know that I'm on a 37-town tour of the 115th Assembly District. Champlain is town number 11. Not because you're 11th, but because that's where it kind of fell in doing the calendar. And basically what I've been doing is just sitting and listening and watching the interaction between council people and supervisors. And obviously in some towns, their constituents, there are quite a few people there, and the dialogue back and forth is really powerful. I just believe that there's no way to represent you in Albany without actually sitting here and listening to what happens on a pretty regular basis. And there's no summary or email or text or phone call that takes the place from watching good people look out for governing their neighbors. So thank you for allowing me to be here tonight, and I'm just going to listen. You're welcome.
Anyone else? No? Laura? Nothing? Okay. We got 2 minutes to approve the regular monthly meeting. That has to be a misprint. I'm sorry, guys. It says May 1st on your agenda. It's May 13th. Am I correct, Julie? Yeah. Okay. The regular monthly meeting on May 13th. We need to approve those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 13th meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll
second that. Any questions on the minutes of May 13th? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One abstention. Steve was not here. We also had a special meeting on the 30th. Need to approve.
I make a motion to approve the minutes held at the special meeting on May 30th.
Second that. Okay. Any questions on those minutes? May 30th, the special meeting that we had. If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. You have your town clerk's monthly report for review. You need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the town clerk's monthly report.
I'll second that. Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's also carried. The next one is a misprint. Under real property tax service days that are here. The last one, it says Saturday, June 26th. That's actually Thursday, June 26th. Okay? That's strictly for your information only. Don't need to vote on that. Do you have your dog compliance officer's report? It's quite extensive this month. He's had a lot of activity. There's one in your packet. There's also one on the desk that I guess was given to us. Must be spring fever or something.
Well, I think also he's, someone wrote, it's for 2 months, for April, there's April as well in there.
Yes.
Which is still.
Yes, it's still quite extensive.
Absolutely.
That's strictly for your agenda. A letter from the Teamsters Local 687, in accordance with our contractual requirements, a written notice is hereby served upon you of our desire to reopen the agreement covering employees' negotiations, negotiate changes in the following provisions, okay? Wages, hours, working conditions, and fringe benefits. We will, I expect to be starting that sometime in this summer. Steve and I, the ones that served on the last 2 contracts, I believe. You're still willing to do that, Steve. I will notify our negotiator, set up some times, and I'll get back with you to see what best evening or week. More than likely, it'll be right at 4:30 in the afternoon. Okay? Strictly for information. We got a letter from the Tobacco Free Network. They do send out a quarterly brochure. It's, basically, it's to encourage students not to start smoking, and the disadvantages of smoking. That's strictly information. We get those every quarter. The federal primary election is scheduled for June 24th. That's 2 weeks from today. They will be using this building. Well, it's 11 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. It says here. It's unusual hours for election.
It's supposed to be 12 to 8, or 12 to 9, I thought.
Okay, well, yeah, you're probably right.
It's just saying that they have.
They'll be here.
Yes, I know.
Okay, fine. And we will make arrangements to close up that meeting. Somebody will be here to do that for them. Okay, as strict as their information, we've always given them permission to use our building. We got a letter from Time Warner Cable. Our monthly, our quarterly check that comes from them to us is $2,289. Usually comes about $5. Send us the notice on May 28th. I'm sure we got that already. Clinton County Department of Personnel sends a letter. Thank you for providing information we requested and the additional payroll for our review. Your information you provided enabled us to resolve the outstanding issues on your March 2014 payroll. They've all been certified. They appreciate your attention and detail. From the personnel department, we thank you. Jane is the one that usually handles all that. She's done a fine job on that. Clinton County Historical Association. From what I read, they'd like to give us a 1-year membership, and after that, they're looking for yearly memberships. We'll discuss that at budget time more than likely. They do, and I was last week presented with 2 books from Clyde Revenue Senior. Brought him in. He got 2 books on cemeteries in the northern tier, mostly northern part of the county. Okay, I have them on my desk. They are for the town use. They will be here at the town. It's gives all the deaths way back 1800s until now. Okay. We needed a resolution that was the desire of the board to allow employees to turn in their sick time to be applied towards their retirement. Now, we did this once before. We did on a case-by-case basis. I think we need a policy, a resolution to do this for anybody that requests it. Now, what it amounts to is somebody wants to buy back some of their retirement through their military service, okay? The other person that did it 4 or 5 years ago was buying back some service that he had through another municipality. Okay, we allowed that to cash in their sick time to enhance their retirement. In this particular case, it's about 3 years, I believe, retirement for somebody. And I have actually no problem with it. It's approximately $4,200, $4,300, and he has more time, sick time built up, and we would owe that eventually anyway. Okay, so I have no problem. I would hope the board would support that.
It's just extending your service time, right?
Yes, it's giving them, anybody that's got the ability to buy back time is very foolish not to, I think.
You're paying for it in essence,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I'm just buying my service credits. Yeah.
This happens to be for me, but I think we need a policy to cover anybody in the future that requests this, okay? So, if I could have a resolution to allow employees to buy back, cash in their sick time towards their retirement. It's the retirement that they worked and earned through another entity, whether it be the military or another municipality, okay? Any questions on that?
So would you like to vote on it, or would you like to vote on it this evening?
Well, I'd like to vote on it. You have a concern, or?
No, but I thought we would have the lawyer write it up, and then vote on it.
My question is, are you amending the personnel policy
No, we
to
never,
reflect the future?
to my knowledge, we never had a policy on this. We did it once before, we did it for a particular person.
Just for.
I mean, amending in the form of adding this to the personnel policy.
Yes, I'd like that, yes. In other words, we allow anybody to do it that qualifies, okay, that has enough sick time on the books to pay for it. It costs us nothing, so to speak. You are gonna pay that sick time out eventually anyway, okay? That's my theory on it anyway. So it's the will of the board here, whatever you desire.
Well, I think we should vote for it, I think everybody's in agreement, but I would like to have Bill write it up and add it to our policy.
I have no problem with that.
Is this time sensitive for you?
No, not right now, no.
I agree with John that
You think that we should have it written up and vote on it next month?
So we're gonna put it on our regular protocol, so
add
when somebody comes to work here, they'll know where they stand.
yeah, and then it'll be right in the policy going forward, and we won't have to do this on an
Exactly.
individual basis.
Okay, I have no problem with that, and Mickey has no,
No.
this happens to be Mickey this time, but it could be somebody else down
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
You know.
New York State retirement system may be able to give us the wording.
Well, somebody- yeah,
No,
that's
I mean,
fine.
you know, Bill is, money, we're New York State retirement, he's just gonna call them and ask them how it should be
Okay.
worded, we could call.
We'll just table that then, we'll certainly do it next month, nobody has an objection to it. I have no problem with that. It's money owed, so to speak, we need to pay it now or later. We've been asked by Harry McManus, our county legislator, to support a resolution for the Champlain Trail project. We did one before, this was a differently worded one. If you want to take a minute to read it, I have no problem with it.
What's wrong with the other one?
He says this one got stronger language, I noticed on this print here, but that's okay. Fourth paragraph from the bottom, Champlain is not fully spelled out. We did want to pick this up in the morning, this application has to be in by noon tomorrow, the county offices.
And the application isn't considered complete until the two villages
Yeah.
agree to it also.
Okay. The village of Champlain had a meeting last night, and assuming they did it.
Yes, they did.
They did, okay. The desire of the board, I have no problem with this.
According to the mayor, the changes were within the last 3 paragraphs of what the original document said.
No.
Basically the same thing.
It is, they just rewrote it, I mean,
Yeah, well,
county's still sponsoring the application.
No, the town of Champlain is willing to be the applicant for this project.
no, the third paragraph from the bottom, it says,
Clinton County is willing to sponsor.
yes. It's the county sponsoring and administering.
Yeah, but that's on the May 30th one.
No, it's
No,
not.
no, 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 that's on the new one,
This paragraph at the bottom, it says Clinton County is willing to sponsor.
an application.
The June 10th one, it says the town of Champlain is willing to be the applicant for this project.
And keep reading.
Yes, that's, it puts us ahead of them.
Well, the county will sponsor and administer the grant project,
If awarded.
if awarded. And that's only if all three of the municipalities agree and with the awards from the state, so.
We're not obligated to anything, until it's awarded. It's a complicated process. Harry told me today it probably wouldn't, the actual white path probably not installed until at least 2016. Probably be 2014, 15 before it's approved, probably 2016 before the project's ready to go forward. Somebody's got their hand up, got a question? Oh, that's okay.
And
Okay.
hopefully, they need to come up with the money,
Yes. Okay. Well,
not,
yes. And once we get the grant, we'll know what our liability is dollar-wise, okay? What's the will of the board?
What do we need to do?
Just,
Amend the other one, or
Yeah,
no?
with this one.
just do this one.
I make a motion to approve, make this resolution presented to us for support of the Champlain Trail project.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Julie, will you have, he stop in and we'll have some time in the morning? You have that ready for him?
Yeah.
For a stamp on it. I thank you for that. Alan, you have anything on the highway to report, or the work we've done?
Well, we've been working on Prospect Street, in the culvert there the last couple of days. I got 2 more to go, and it's a bike path, that'll be a beginning here. To start, the culvert to be across.
Yes. That section's not being done this year. That section you put the vote.
That's the section that's.
That is.
Yeah, that's the section that's gonna be done this year.
Okay.
I mean, it's gonna be a start. As
Yeah.
soon as he gives me a
Yeah.
plan how to go about it, how he wants it. That's my next question with him. You know,
Yeah.
up in the air right now, and I hate to tackle anything, and if it's not gonna be right, I don't wanna do it twice, you know.
You want to keep in contact with Harry as well as Al, to make sure that,
First of all, we gotta get the easement in. The one we got today, I don't think, there'd be something that's gonna be added to that. Did he call back?
not to my knowledge, the attorney, no. Not to my knowledge, I left it a little up, I kinda after three, I left it. It was after that, I don't know. Okay. Well, we'll just have to keep at it, that's all, there's no other way. Okay?
And it's really good you're able to do this for the town. It's stretch, but boy, it's gonna be appreciated.
4,200 feet.
Not that short.
Well, the weekends will allow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did put the speed limit signs on Prospect.
That's not why they're noticeable. Like I said, when I left here today,
Yesterday, I need them.
Now, let's see, if we're not in the middle of the road, is it?
early in the morning either.
No.
Anybody else have any committee reports? We did have a small leak in our building during that big rainstorm last week. One of the caps on one of the vents was blown off and needs to be put back on and secured. I called the next morning and as soon as I knew there was a leak, and they came in and fixed it within a couple of hours. I noticed it, that's like the bill's on here this evening, it cost us a little $100 or something.
Can I ask how the big plastic thing was, John?
Yeah, that was pretty good. We did the same presentation we did last year, except we added, what we did is, Greg read it off. We added our letters from the GSA and Hudson Headwaters and whatever ones we added that was onto it. They only gave us, it's only a 5-minute deal in there, but they came up with some brochures, and I'll put them in, I forgot them, they were in my wife's car, the brochures, some bargain news, I'll put it all in your boxes. It's a little explanation, and I gave it to all the members up there who were there, they were all reading it pretty well, so actually, I thought, I had great hopes on this one, because they really were paying attention this time. It really wasn't the case before.
Well, this is the regional economic development package for this upcoming year.
This was the most part of the time.
Still trying.
It was good, and there was a lot of people up there, and of course, being the type of town it is, there were people that were asking for $5 million for the jumps and all this stuff, but we've got sandwich in there, but I still think we did all right, really, it's the first time I really see them pay much attention as to what we were doing. Okay, one other thing about the water and sewer project, you'll see on our bills there's a bill in there from Banyan Electric.
Yep.
We had one of our motors go down, and Nick and I took it off, and I ran to Plattsburgh and had it checked out, it wasn't the motor, I brought it back. And the guy from Banyan came up, and we tested everything out again, and one of the big contactors was bad. So the next day I ran to Plattsburgh, got a contactor, and I installed it, but I didn't turn around, I had him come back up and check everything I did before I flipped the switch, as they say, and it all worked out all right, so. And I saw the bill, he made 2 trips up here from Plattsburgh, he only charged us $140. That was pretty reasonable, and the contactor was $115, but we're just trying to keep that going until something happens with this other project. We're just gonna keep patching, there's no sense buying anything new, whatever we can get away with. But everything's up and running, so we're good.
I noticed you got water across the road now to.
Yep, now Mickey had the boys go over.
That house come over.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You've got to buy a piece of hose and how it's fitting for the end, then we won't need a truck anymore.
We're slowly getting caught up on some of this stuff that we should have done years ago.
That makes real good sense to me, instead of having the hot water.
Okay. You have your post audit bills?
I have a couple things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your monthly bills?
No, it's not.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just wanna let the board know that local law 1, 2, and 3 have been filed with the state. All three of them, so we're all set with those. And there's a free rabies clinic on Tuesday, June 24th, from 6 to 8:30 at the Ellenberg Depot Fire Station on Route 11. And we got a letter from PERMA. Congratulations, in your last completed policy year, you had no workers' compensation claims. Please find and close a certificate of achievement. These certifies were presented at PERMA's recent annual conference. On behalf of the member service department at PERMA, we want to recognize your dedication to the PERMA group as having no claims, positive results in the field of loss control and safety. And a certificate.
Okay.
Congratulations to Alan here. That's what,
Try to be,
keep his guys out there.
I don't want
All right, don't
to,
go.
don't pat myself on the shoulder too bad, you can have it tomorrow.
No, but that's where your workers' comp is, that's for sure.
that's where they all come from.
Yep.
Okay, you have your post audit bills, you need to approve the monthly bills, and need a motion to pass them, but Julie's got a whole bunch more to read, that James was not able, all pertaining to the highway, I believe, okay?
Air gas for 227.01. Beauregard equipment for $3,692.82. This is repairs to the case loader. Bayshard Farm equipment, New Holland tractor, the cab, $55,000. Bobcat of Plattsburgh, $525.47. It's like it with the filters. Champlain Ace Hardware, $191.74. Shazy Hardware, $259.23. Clark's Truck Center, $259.79. Continental Research Corporation, $235.32. Dupuy Feeds, $462.60. I'm not sure, this is some quarry, what is that, how do you say it?
Calvitis.
Calvitis, $1,089.81. MIS Incorporated, $57.58. MX Fuels and Propane, Vancourt Fuels, $388.85. Northeast Auto Parts, $11.10. Howard Plan, $86.25. James C. Smith and Son, $3,253.94. UniFirst Corporation, $435.15. And Warren Tire for $927.52.
Thank you. We have those plus the bills that was on the desk here tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the listed bills plus the bills read by the clerk.
Okay. Do I have a second? Thank you. Is there any questions on any of the bills?
I just have to say again, I don't agree with fixing loaders, but we've got 3 of them. I don't understand why we're still throwing money into
Is
that.
the overloader,
You just quit, and you go ahead and win back up, like, Dan, 50 years.
I mean, it's your call, Alan, sooner or later, we gotta decide that
Oh, I
we're not
think
gonna put money in these things anymore.
it comes to a point where it's a big major thing, like a motor or a transmission, there's like,
Okay.
like an even go, about 15,000, something like that.
Like I said, I just wanna make sure we're not pouring money into something that's just gonna die on me eventually.
probably should try to get rid of all this still running up there. Okay, any other questions on the bills? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. I have nothing else. Does anybody else have anything for the board? Yes, Calvin. Well, it was on the table. Everybody had it this evening. I'm not so sure that we feel, or some of the board members feel, that by doing this, it would do any good. They as much as told us that their plans were theirs and...
Oh, yeah, well, I'll read my letter here,
Okay, go ahead.
to enter into
Go ahead.
the log here. This letter is being written to encourage the town to write a letter to the county, urging them to contact New York State DOT in regard to proposed roundabouts, traffic circles being constructed on Route 11 and I-87 intersection. It is hoped that the town would also send a similar letter directly to the Department of Transportation. The DOT has determined that 2 traffic circles are necessary at that very busy overpass. I'm not foolish enough to think that we can convince them to change their minds in this regard. So they're not going to change the roundabouts. That's going to happen. We can, however, remind them of the obvious dangers that will exist following the change in this traffic pattern. My big concern is the traffic entering this junction from the north. As everyone who has approached that intersection from the north knows, the I-87 highway makes a turn to the left, and that exit actually continues for an almost completely straight line from the interstate to the present traffic light. So Route 87 turns, the intersection goes straight, and people don't understand that they're not on the northway anymore. It is fairly common to see vehicles maneuvering that exit and to have the drivers not realize that they have actually left the interstate. In the past, I have witnessed cars and large trucks driving through the exit ramp to the opposite entrance ramp without stopping. Much more frequently, I have seen traffic stop at the light and then cross Route 11 to the entrance ramp when their light turns green. These drivers entered the ramp not realizing that they were on an exit and were no longer on the northway. This intersection is located barely a mile from the Canadian border. It goes without saying that a large percentage of the drivers are not familiar with the area. In fact, if you stood there for an hour, you would probably see that the vast majority of the license plates are not New York plates. Who among us has not made a wrong turn when traveling roads that are they're not familiar with, trying to concentrate on traffic and unfamiliar road signs? Now picture this situation with a large truck approaching this traffic circle in a blinding snowstorm, a dense fog, or other far from ideal weather conditions. Right now, there is at least a red light hanging overhead to help get the driver's attention. On a busy summer day, stand in the parking lot area at Valero's and see how often you hear screeching tires from cars suddenly realizing they have to stop. In the future, there will be no overhead light, just traffic signs advising them to suddenly go from 65 miles an hour to 15 miles an hour in order to maneuver through the traffic circle and merge with the busy Route 11 traffic. In my mind, there's little doubt that there will be a serious traffic accident in this junction involving confused drivers coming from the north. The best we can hope for is that DOT will change the approach to the exit ramp so that the drivers will be 100% aware that they are no longer on the northway. The approach to the exit ramp must not continue in a straight line from I-87. It has to have some kind of defining curve in order to alert the southbound traffic. And a letter. Now, I did talk to the supervisory man in charge of construction. He's not the engineer that designed it. His job is to build what's on the plans. But when I pointed these things out to him, it was all new information to him. Now, I know, I'm fairly certain that sooner or later there's going to be a serious accident there. And I don't want it on my conscience that I didn't do everything I could to prevent that from happening. Now, all what it would mean was they're not going to change the roundabouts. Those are, but the approach to it can let those drivers know that they're not on the northway, and that can still be done.
Yeah, I would not know how they could do that, but you may be very well right. I don't know that. Okay, it's confusing. I understand. I don't come south very often from the border, but anyway, it's the will of the board. Do you think we should send letters? It's actually whatever we do,
The only thing I'd say is if they can't make the curve, it's better signage so that people are aware they don't go straight, they bear a left.
I'll try to be like 276 and put the red lights up and signs after that fact when somebody letters.
No, a few years back, the Chamber of Commerce got all excited because we had people dying on the other side of the border because of the traffic backup. They wanted to get the border moving quickly, and it happened. We're going to have a different type of thing happening here on this side of the border. Those people coming off are not familiar with this area. They're going to enter a traffic circle, and they're going to think they're still on that northway. a far too big percentage of them. Like I said, I wanna make sure I don't have it on my conscience if something happens.
You understand? So what will the board, do you wanna send a letter to the county, send, just notify them that we're on record that
If you people don't see a danger, then you don't see a danger. I certainly do.
I don't think they're building a road that's gonna be unsafe. I don't think that, I just can't believe that they would build some type of facility or some type of
exit.
exit
I've seen the
ramps.
drawings, and that exit is not gonna change.
I'm not an engineer, I'm not anything, Calvin, and there's no way possible, but how are you even gonna address this, is to tell them that they're building the road, I'm sure it's gonna be funneled in somehow, that's, I'm sure, I mean,
Well, it's funneled in
I've
now.
seen the drawings, the exit position is not gonna change. And that exit position now is a hazard.
Is and has been.
Yes. And it's only gonna get worse. I mean, you're gonna figure going up the Plattsburgh Air Base roundabout at 65 miles an hour and approaching that, and all of a sudden have to go into, you enter that at 15 miles an hour. They're gonna have signs up there that tell you to go into that at 15 miles an hour. But you're coming off a road that has
how
65.
about all the work sections all the way down the Northway, you're coming in at those at 70 miles an hour, and they're posted, and you damn well better slow down before you get there. All up and down the Northway when they're fixing the bridges, repairing all the bridges.
This is a permanent thing. This isn't,
Well, it doesn't matter, it's still gonna be the same thing.
well, didn't we have some North Hudson that got border patrols, people stopped in line that got run over?
Absolutely, that's accidents, those are things that happen.
But they did things after that to prevent that from happening. So let's not wait till something happens here and then ask them to do something to prevent future accidents.
Okay.
Quite well taken.
They still have the roadblock in North Hudson there, wherever it is, when they, I went through it last Friday. So I know they're still having it for several, they had it when I went south there in the morning, and I had late in the evening, I came back north, and they still have it there.
Yeah, they're still doing it, but they're doing things differently so that,
Well, it's signage, you're right, we had a guy just got a ticket on coming north through the construction over here. And he said he didn't see none of the signs, and there's 5 or 6 signs all the way up through there. People are still gonna say they didn't see the sign. But you can't miss the cones in the road, there's cones for what, a mile back? People just don't adhere to.
How does someone kill a state trooper that stops with lights?
They claim he almost did that on purpose, I understand.
Well, I understand that, but, you know, it's, I don't know.
just because there are accidents doesn't mean you can't prevent other ones. I mean, yeah, there's always gonna be accidents. But let's minimize the possibility of that happening.
My only comment is that originally, if you remember, for the first plan, would have utilized eminent domain to wipe out the whole front of Royal Arrow. So we all got together and we approached our state representatives
Yep.
and we changed the plan.
Yep.
So now we're gonna go back to them and tell them that this one is not acceptable. I'm not in favor.
Amen.
I'm not.
Maybe the speed zones can be lowered until they get past the interchange.
When a guy tells you he didn't see a 45-mile speed zone on the work zone over here, and it's a mile and a half back, or whatever, it's way back. People just don't slow down, they don't adhere to things.
I think we have to, Calvin, we have to rest our case with Councilman Steve just said, that, you know, we've already went to them once.
I know
We
last.
changed, you know, it was a big to-do, and we went to them, and they
They took a second look at it.
graciously
They took-
changed the whole
They
thing.
took a second look at it, and they came up with a good alternative, of not taking some property that they had to fight for, probably.
I just can't imagine that they're gonna build something unsafe,
Well,
Calvin.
it's somewhat unsafe right now, I understand Calvin's point of view. It's not the ideal situation in the curve in the northwest. Last month, you asked me for the name of the guy in Watertown, DOT.
Yeah, I got together and I talked with
Okay, you did.
I talked to the local guy, yeah.
Okay, local,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, they're very cooperative, very, and he showed me all the maps.
Yeah, they're
And,
all,
you know,
they're always nice about it, but what they do about it is a different story.
No, it's not his job
Yeah, I
to,
understand.
to change the plans, his job is to build what's on those plans. No, he's not the designer, he's the implementer.
Some direction, guys.
So we make sure that they have the right signage, and that doesn't cost very much. I mean, ensuring that people know that they're left instead of going straight. I don't know, I'm just saying, you know, making sure, that way, I mean, changing the road might be something they wouldn't wanna do. But at least signage might alert somebody, I mean, because it's not properly, you know, it's hard to know where it is right now. I know what you're saying, from, it's really hard to notice that there's left if you wanna go straight. I mean, and it's not really signed correct. How about?
I am correct, as you're coming south, it will tell you, you know, the next exit, you know, to get off.
Well, down below, I get off at Kingston all the time, that's the way it's set up, with the roundabouts.
Yep.
And as you come up the hill, it says, the first right-hand turn is such and such, the second right-hand turn is such and such, the third right-hand turn, all the way around it like this.
Yeah.
And that's a great big sign there. If it said, turn left, it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, that should give you a pretty good idea that you're not on the north way.
Yeah, but they're gonna slow down before they get to there, sir. That's the problem. I understand that. Okay?
What is the exit speed? 30 miles an hour?
At this one now, but I would imagine, I have no clue how
They,
they're gonna change
according
it.
to the plans, they've got signage that will show it approach that at 15 miles an hour.
Okay, well, then, you know, you can have all the signs you want, if people don't adhere to them, I
If you're not
mean,
paying
That-
attention,
you know,
the signs aren't gonna help you.
I mean,
I know a guy put some roadblocks up and went around them yesterday.
yeah, we don't have that. I mean,
You know? We're sure we're gonna do what they want, no point in getting hurt. Human behavior, don't try to figure it out then. Okay, I don't see support for saying this in, I don't gather anything, okay? Okay, I can certainly make the phone calls, I can talk to, Keith and see what happens, but see where he goes. Does anybody else have anything to bring before the board? If not, I need a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Do I have a second?
Second that motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.